are listening to the MercTown Underground, produced by MercTown Studios. And now your hosts, SLB and Merc.
A lot in the video game world too. I think we should cover that.
That's big. Obviously, in a few weeks, the new Doom game comes out, May 13th. I'm excited for that one.
It's a day one purchase.
Yes, that will be a day one purchase.
Talked about it before, but we're excited, so we're going to talk about it again.
Yeah, so I watched some gameplay with the multiplayer. The multiplayer looks unbelievable. I mean, again, it's no COD, it's no fucking Battlefield, it's none of these newer first-person shooter multiplayer. No Destiny.
Hey, you know what? Battlefield Bad Company is pretty solid. I don't know.
Well, Bad Company, that's a different. But I'm talking about like straight up just Battlefield. It's Doom. Like, what's there to say about Doom?
People don't appreciate unique anymore.
No, not at all. As we said last week.
Mafia 3 is coming out. Finally has a date, October 7th. Even though open world games aren't unique anymore, 60s is not one that's been covered a lot.
Not in the sense of open world games. There have been games, obviously, which the GTA had the ports back in the late 90s that were like London 67 and such. But this will be cool.
It's funny. Every Mafia comes out for a different system. Mafia came out for PS2. It was obviously a little buggy, had its flaws, but it's a really good game. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite games growing up. The second one, to be honest, the stupidest trophy in gaming history. Drive 1,000 miles in a little DLC expansion they had, which was ridiculous considering you could do everything in the game twice and only have like 200-300 miles and have every other trophy in the game. It was this big fuck up on their part. I ended up buying a turbo controller just to get it, and so controller for what I paid for it, but still, the fact that I had to do it. But Mafia 3 is, of course, coming out for PS4, Xbox One, if you're into that, and I'm sure PC. There's a little bit of carry-on from the second one. I believe the main character is a NPC, much older, because it's years past. I think they're like 20-year increments. I believe the first one was in... Actually, I think it spanned from like the early 1900s to like the 20s. The second one was obviously right after World War II, and this one's obviously in the 60s. But the second one, actually, you go and kill the guy you play as in the first one as one of the missions. So there's a little bit of continuation in all of them. It's just a really good series. It's Grand Theft Auto with a better story, a little bit less humor. The gameplay's solid. It's not the best, but the cars from the 40s drive like cars from the 40s. A little bit arcadey, but...
Yeah, I've never played Mafia. It's been on my list. I just got The Godfather from your store, obviously.
I think it's better than The Godfather by a lot. I enjoyed The Godfather, though, and I actually beat both of them.
But there's a lot of those games I never got to play because I never had a PS2 growing up, or my PS3 didn't get till a little later on in its life cycle. But these are games I definitely am trying to catch up on. I haven't played.
Highly recommend it. I'm really excited. It might possibly be my number 2 for the year.
It is coming out October 7th. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It might be. Far Cry Primal's up there. Doom obviously has a very good chance. But I don't see it being below top 3. And it won't be number 1, but I see it being number 2.
I mean, for number 1 games, is there anything that sticks up for number 1 right now?
Far Cry Primal right now.
Far Cry Primal? Okay.
But just because, again, I'm talking about this a lot, uniqueness.
Yeah, that's the thing with games. I have to pick up games that really stick out. I just don't go pick up games because everyone else tells me to go pick up games.
And it's got to a point where half the games I'm interested in this year are PS3 graphic enhanced games that are coming for PS4. The newest one is Dead Island, like the Ultimate Edition or some version of that.
The Remastered, yeah.
Comes with the first one and the Riptide, which is like the second one. It's not Dead Island 2 because that is coming out. It doesn't have a release date yet. Could be this year, very late in the year, but probably not. It does come with a new 16-bit like side scroller that's totally unique and new for the people that have beaten the crap out of the series. I guess it comes with all DLC, There was one DLC that I never got for the first one, so if it does have that, that will be a nice little small incentive. Obviously, updated graphics, all that fun stuff. I'll probably pick it up. I know they did one for the Borderlands series. I never ended up getting it, although I do believe that the character you can continue from the PS3 to the PS4 very easily. Something I might consider. The only reason I didn't get that one because it was Borderlands 2 and then Borderlands the pre-sequel. If it came with the first one, it would have been a buy it all day type of deal.
Yeah.
Much like the BioShock one, it's going to be all three of them. That'll be another thing I'll buy right away without thinking.
Is there a date on the BioShock?
I don't think there is yet.
Okay. Because I do have all three games like you do, but it definitely would be nice to just have it for the newer consoles.
And especially if they put it on one disc.
Oh, gosh.
Save a little bit of space. I probably won't sell the other ones because...
That's one of those... Like, if it was another series I didn't care for, I'd sell them, but this was BioShock.
Especially when there's minor things like, you know, who knows? Like, they say all the DLC, but what about the pre-order stuff? You gotta... Yeah, because I care about those little minor things.
Yeah.
I want to play the complete fucking game. We've talked about this 100 times before on the old podcast.
So, are you sure that, you sure that Far Cry Primal will be your number one game this year?
I don't know. That one game, I know we talked about it earlier, we're actually going to release it. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn. It's by Guerrilla Games, the people that made Killzone and Shell Shock.
So, I don't get to play as often as Merc here does, and you were telling me that somebody showed this to you and you had no interest.
My friend's like, oh, this game's going to be awesome, watch the video. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. By the end of it, I'm like, I'm fucking buying it the day it comes out. It's third person. It's a post-apocalyptic future where we just basically disappeared. There are animals, wild animals, that are basically robotic, and there's...
It was biomechanical almost.
Biomechanical, and there's survivors who are fighting these things, and a lot of what happened is a mystery. It's definitely an RPG. It's third person. It looks amazing.
The best way I can describe what I've seen, and I haven't played Far Cry Primal, but if you took Fallout 4 and designed it to be more like Far Cry Primal or vice versa, it's those two games mushed together. And it looks absolutely incredible. I've never this year did I think I was going out to buy a game day of besides Doom. This game, the moment he showed me this video, was fucking believable. And there's all bows, and there's different kinds of bows, which is pretty cool.
There's tethers to bring these basically T-Rex-looking robots down. The only reason I don't want to say it's my number one is there could be a major flaw. It could be as hard as Dark Souls. It might need a huge patch the day it comes out, because Guerrilla has only made first-person shooters, Shell Shock. So but granted, the gameplay looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm gonna hold off saying it's my favorite game of the year because it's untested, but it very well could be.
My other concern, I don't know if it's set it. We're gonna quickly look this up now because I just had a big issue with another game that I wanted to get.
I believe this is single player based.
It says single player based. We're gonna double check that because I don't want to like.
I'm 99.9% sure there may be a multiplayer feature, but I believe that this is going to be a story-driven single-player game that may have some type of cheap multiplayer feature.
Yeah, single player. That's good.
And that's what we want.
We like we're single player kind of guys. There's nothing wrong with multiplayer games, but we just don't want to play them.
And we realize that might not be the norm anymore.
Yeah. So recently I had a discussion. Last week, as some of our listeners may know, it was the magical date of April 20th. So I hung out with a couple of my friends that day. I didn't partake in the celebration, but I watched my friends partake in the celebration.
I worked.
And you worked. So, let me tell you, no offense to who I was with, but it was the most unproductive day of my life. I wasn't smoking. I'm just like, dude, I can't just sit here and do nothing. It wasn't even the fact that I was doing nothing. I was watching movies I'd already seen. I was kind of doing some things on my laptop, and I'm like, I'm just so used to being busy. I just don't like not being busy. You know what I mean?
Way.
It's coming, if I don't have something going on, and this is probably why I don't like to play video games too often, as much as I'd like to, because when I'm not busy, I just don't feel productive. I could be doing something right now.
I'm the same way.
It's getting worse, but good in a good way.
I'm that way when the sun's out. Like, if I play video games during the day, I can't do it.
That's another thing,
But once the sun goes down, say 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, because I go to bed late, obviously recording very late at night, but when we're not recording and I'm up late at night, that's when I'm great playing video games and I can go nonstop.
And you feel...
and I don't feel like trash. But if the sun's out, I don't like playing games during the day.
And which becomes another tough thing for me because I work overnights. So I'm trying to sleep during the day, but I don't want to play games during the day.
I couldn't play games on your schedule. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have a video game collection.
I'm not
anymore.
even big on watching TV during the day. I like doing my media and my fun stuff at night. I don't know what that is, but obviously you seem to have a bit of that too.
So So when I was at my friend's house, one of his other buddies came over and he goes, "You got to try this game, Ark. Have you heard of this game, Ark?"
I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about it.
So Ark, I'm like, his buddies tell me, "Yeah, you got to play it. It's like $35 and it's in beta right now." And first thing my thought is, why am I gonna pay $35 for a game in beta? I think it's in beta. I'm not sure, but I'm like 35. I'm like, so I looked it up. So Ark is pretty much, and I'll have to show you some gameplay. It's called Ark Survival Evolved. And it's a game where it's an open world game. It's almost in this. It's not like Minecraft in the sense that, like, it's very block. It's definitely more. The graphics are more full. It's just not blocky. You can pretty much do anything. But the big thing is that you go out, you can fight, train, and tame dinosaurs.
Oh, you know what? My friend actually showed me him playing it for half an hour. And it was very multiplayer based. He's like, "Oh yeah, I have this Stegosaurus that does this, and this is our base, and all my buddies want me to go do this, and I do this." I was kind of drunk at the time, but I did pay a little attention to it.
It looks really cool. But
it's a cool concept.
The moment, because I'm like, I gotta get this game, and I think there's a single player mode, but it's mainly multiplayer. And the moment I ask somebody if I asked Josh, I'm like, he goes, "No, that's only multiplayer." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "That's only a multiplayer game." I'm like, "What?" Immediately the game just dropped my list.
I'm not big on multiplayer. I actually made a mistake buying a game called Mag, which was literally multiplayer only. And actually the server shut down, so I have a game up in my collection that
doesn't work,
basically. It's literally a paperweight.
It's, okay, I don't mind. There's certain games I like to do multiplayer things with. If I'm going to sit there and just play Super Smash Brothers and kick the shit out of people, that's like a party game.
That's great multiplayer. Or Gran Turismo, you go practice, you get a really good line on the track, and you want to go see if you can run that line with real people that are, not going to back down. So you can kind of go from single to multiplayer and say like a racing game.
Yeah.
Because it's the same concept. And there is like rewards for doing a few. You sometimes can still earn credits. It's not just you're playing multiplayer like shooting games. There's no reward for playing Call of Duty.
No.
You go, you shoot people, you get a high KD. A lot of racing games, you race online, you're still going to get your money, you go upgrade your car and go race in single player. And you can make friends. So I'm not, especially racing games, I do like some online.
Oh, I do too.
And Battlefield Bad Company 2, I probably spent 1,000 hours on that game. Because even though it was a first-person shooter, it had certain things that interest me. Like, if you get 1,000 kills with the weapon, you would technically platinum the weapon. There were certain stats I liked. I didn't care about my KD as much. I'm like, oh, I have like a 4.0 KD. Oh, that's not good. I got like a 60. I don't give a fuck. I can kill 4 people before I die. That's fucking good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't need to have some like 30 to 1 KD and fucking quick scope or whatever the fuck they call everyone.
But at the end of the day, like, as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're having a good time with the people you're playing with. The problem with COD is I've played a couple times and I just don't. It's
when I played Battlefield Bad Company 2, I got into it. Obviously, when I first started playing it, I probably put 100 hours into it, and right around that end of that 100 hours, over that month or whatever, because I was playing a lot back then, I ended up just being a dick and not spawn camping, but I was playing very close to the base, and I just kept killing this one guy. And he seemed like he was a good player, looking at his stats. And he messaged me. I thought he was going to be a dick. And I'm like, oh, great. I used to save my hate mail from people. It was like my collection. And I never, camped or anything, but I would sometimes play close defense. And I mean, obviously, that's a gray area for some people. I don't really give a shit. But the guy's like, wow, you're actually really good at holding that position. I'm like, oh, thanks. Yeah, I actually really like this map. Something like that. He sends me a squad request, and I used to be a lot funnier than I am now, so I always make those guys laugh. And I ended up playing with them for a long, long time. And then when Battlefield 3 came out, I didn't like it as much, and that's when I kind of got away because Battlefield 3 was more of that generic.
You start pushing towards COD, Modern Warfare, yeah.
So that's when I kind of got out of it. But between when Battlefield Bad Company 2 came out and Battlefield 3 came out, that was like the only game I played minus Gran Turismo.
Yeah, no, I haven't really played any multiplayer in a long time. People keep asking me, "You got to get this, you got to get that, you got to get live." And John and Josh both told me this week, like, there's going to be a day where games are just multiplayer, and that's it. And we're heading that route. And I literally said it, and I'm going to say it right here. The day that all gaming goes straight to multiplayer, like you're buying Destiny, Division's another one I realized.
I don't think it will ever go 100%.
But if it did, let's just hypothetically say it did. If that happened, I will never play another video game again. Unless it's from Nintendo, and I'll tell you why. Because Nintendo is at least smart enough to make all their... They haven't switched one single franchise to a multiplayer-only base game. That's where they're really smart.
I don't know if I'd never play a video game again. I'd just go, okay, this is where I'm done buying new stuff. I have plenty of old shit I can play.
Well, no, you could always go back.
Yeah,
that's another thing. There's a backlog I could do.
I have plenty of backlog.
But I'm not moving forward.
Oh, I agree completely with that statement.
And again, if you want to sit there and play multiplayer, that's fine. If you want to, if you like to get together with friends, the one thing I used to like when I was younger, I used to like hang out with my brothers or a couple friends. We get around the TV and we played the multiplayer on the TV, which used to be fun.
Split screen is different than online, in my opinion. Though.
Yeah, when you do the split screen multiplayer, it was fun.
It's a different atmosphere because you killed me, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna, you get to taunt them and they're your friends, so they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Mario Kart, that can end friendships. But besides that,
Yeah, I think the big thing, it goes back to the whole technology is bringing us closer and farther apart at the same time.
Yep.
Which, again, playing video games not really being sociable, but I used to like having my friends come over. I wouldn't see them as much, but we'd get together and we'd play and we'd get pissed off at each other, but we'd have a good time and we'd go do something else afterwards.
So like Borderlands, you can play that whole game single player. You can play it online, multiplayer, and it's the same game. I generally like to do single player for it. But after I beat the first Borderlands, I loved it so much, I went and played through again co-op with my friend.
Yeah.
I loved that game when it first came out. And I love co-op campaigns. I am all for...
Co-op is great, or even just single, multiplayer.
I'm all for single or co-op campaigns, and the same campaign when nothing changes. You can either play it alone or play it co-op, and it's the same exact game. Obviously, the enemies might be a little stronger to negate it, but beyond that. Yeah.
I think the other thing that bothers me with a lot of these multiplayer games is when you play multiplayer now, it's not just, hey, Rob, why don't we get Ben, Bobby, Josh, and so and let's get us together and let's we can play online. The thing with a lot of games, if I'm not mistaken, is when you're playing online, you want to play with your friends, you'll play with your friends, but you get thrown into a room with like 30 other people that you don't know.
It's very hard to have a match where there's no other people.
You don't have a what the hell is it called? Peer-to-peer server or something like that?
A lot of them do, but they won't like count your stats. And that's not a huge deal because you want to play with your friends, but it's like you really can't just
add that?
Yeah.
Why not? I just want to play with my friends. I don't want to play with this little 20-year-old douchebag who's going to act like he's 12 in his mother's basement. Like he's the shit. I don't care.
Speaking of people like that, I was playing Bad Company 2 once, and this dude was camping, just like one of those stupid snipers that hide in a house, and I had like this fully automatic piece of shit, just thing wasn't accurate at all. And every time I just, he'd stick his head out and I'd shoot him in the head. I'd come back. And it was just to a point where I know he kept hiding there. I'm like, alright, I'm going to keep killing this motherfucker. He really wasn't, helping his team. So I, granted, really wasn't helping my team by going to kill him constantly. Minus that you only have so many tickets. A death is a ticket. Yeah. So in a way I was. But eventually he messaged me. He's like, do your parents know you're gay? And I pretended to be gay. And I made this guy apologize to me, big time. I'm like, how dare you fucking judge me? You know how hard it was to come out. This dude sent me 4 apologies. I'm so glad you could be so proud. And that must have been so hard. Oh, that poor little motherfucker.
Oh man.
I mean, most people just wouldn't reply. I gotta give the kid a little credit for actually sending me an apology. Most people are like, oh, I shouldn't have stepped on that.
Shouldn't have touched that one.
So that was probably the funniest hate mail that I ever received because I actually got an apology at the end. Even though I had to not stretch the truth, I blatantly lied. But
that's fucking gold. I mean,
I had that whole conversation on my old PS3, and when I transferred to my PS3 Slim, I lost it. I had it.
It didn't transfer anything?
I didn't realize that the messages like until I think because I never like actually logged onto it online afterwards. I don't think it caught up.
Okay.
So I actually ended up giving it to someone, but
So
other people have witnessed those messages. I showed a few people, so I have proof. But man, I wish I had some way of keeping it.
That's gold. But, small things like that, that's going to be fun to do every so often.
Yeah.
And then, I like to network. You and I like to meet other people.
I'll never put 1,000 hours of multiplayer in a game again. That was a one-time in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, but again, everything's going to COD, everything's going to Battlefield, as we said, all these multiplayer games that even like, Mortal Kombat, I like Mortal Kombat, but that's not a game I'd play. We even tried to do a game night here.
Yeah, that failed.
I liked getting together with everybody, but not everybody wanted to play the same thing. Not just that. But
I wanted to race Gran Turismo, and then I ended up lapping everybody, so that was a flop. And then we wanted to play Diablo 3, and the people that played it before were running ahead of the people that didn't play it, and just killing everything. It's like, okay, I'm just going to stand back here and do nothing. Cool.
Yeah, so it's like you're either really good at a game or you suck at a game.
Well, it wasn't so much it was good or bad, it's just the fact that they knew what they were doing. So it's like, all right, we got to go here, we got to go here. It's like, I just kind of want to experience it, or I don't know where I'm going, and I'm going to explore.
I have one friend I used to play I grew up with when we go over and play video games. He always wanted to play multiplayer. Like co-op, okay. It'd be like, okay, you stay here and I'm going to go do this.
No.
Okay. And I'd sit there for 10 minutes and he'd get all upset I was on my phone. I'm like, you've been doing everything. You ever let me, no, we're playing. I go, no, I'm not. I'm sitting here. And that's another thing. Like, with all the hours I work, and I know you're probably getting to this point where you just want to be left alone. You don't want to play with anybody.
I've said it before. I want to have a beer. I want to kill a bunch of people, and if I want to pause the game and take a piss, I don't have to die.
Yeah, and if you want to sit there for hours and play Flappy Goat Simulator, yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god. I accidentally deleted the audio of you beating that for me. It's the worst fucking thing ever. Did we ever talk about that? I think we did on one of the last podcasts.
We might have.
I think it was when you weren't on it.
Yeah, I think that was. If not, yeah, actually, that's a game I want to just play.
So, we've talked about it. We haven't had you talk about it yet.
Yeah, that was a bitch.
The hit detection was so bad.
So first and foremost, before we go anywhere, I don't know if we've talked about this.
First and foremost, I think we should wrap up the Horizon Zero Dawn game. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be released sometime this year. It's unique. It's different.
Did we not wrap that up?
No, we started talking about if it was single-player or multiplayer.
Oh, the single-player, multiplayer, which is one of the topics we were kind of discussing.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I just want to mention it again.
Yeah. So first and foremost, we like single-player games. If you want multiplayer games, that's fine, but you won't catch us on a multiplayer anytime soon. Horizon Zero Dawn, we're buying that day of purchase. Yep. We'll probably I'll do the fucking midnight release, to be honest with you.
If there is one. Yeah.
If a midnight release, we'll go and we'll buy it. I'm excited for that fucking game.
That, Mafia 3, and then Assetto Corsa are probably the only 3 games I'm buying between now and the end of the year. And that one, I think it's June. I still got a lot of games to play, so.
Yeah, I'm pushing that, right?
I haven't cracked open the Infamous for PS4 yet. I already have the first 2 beats, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that came out, didn't it?
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
I'm so out of it with... If it's not, like, on my radar right there... I
think it was actually, like, one of the first games to come out for the PS4.
Yeah, I think so. So, jumping back to Goat Simulator.
Bah.
So, for those of you who don't even know that this exists, there is a game where you can simulate being a goat.
It's the game of my people, of course.
It's the game of Merc's people.
And it's one of my favorite games. It's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater if it didn't suck, and you're a goat. There's a lot of little mini games. You can become a devil goat. You can become a buff goat. You can lick everything.
There were expansions that came out for this game, right?
There's
the DLCs.
3 or 4. There's an RPG one. There's a zombie one. It's not the best game ever. It definitely is a $10 game, but it's worth the $10 all day.
Yeah, that's been on my list for a while. I had to do... There was a mini game. His last trophy... The last one you needed?
Yeah. Everything else was just fun. I just played it for a whole day. Well, not a whole day, but a whole night. And got all the little trophies, explored, had a lot of fun, destroyed a bunch of shit. When you blow up the gas station, you get an achievement called Michael Bay, which is just amazing in itself. But there's one horrible part of this game, and it's called Flappy Goat.
So, with Flappy Goat, for those of you who remember the game Flappy Bird, within Goat Simulator, you go into the developers building, or the publisher's building, and you go up to the second floor, I think.
Yep.
And there's a TV there, or something, and you sit there, and you have to beat Flappy Goat, which is Flappy Bird with worse hit control, just worst game all around.
You could not hit the pipe and still die. And
Yes.
he did multiple times.
How many times did I get? I got to 9 like once or twice.
Well, the goal is to get 10 for the
Yeah.
trophy.
The goal is 10, and I got to 9 a couple of times. And then I'd hit the fucking... I'd be like right... There's one time I was right above the 10th one, and I'd still fucking hit it. And
It was bad. I ended up paying him like $10 to beat it for me. I got so pissed off at it.
It was best $10. Easiest... Well, not the easiest $10.
No, it wasn't easy, but he earned it. He definitely earned the $10. I don't think I've ever paid anyone to beat a level for me. But it was bad. I spent probably 4 to 6 hours on it, and I just had it. I think I got up to 8 once.
I don't think I was supposed to come over that night, and then you're like, I'll pay you money to beat this for me tonight. And I'm like, okay.
Pretty much. And he got to a point where he was ready to give up, and then I'm like, you got this. And he finally kind of got into that mode.
Yeah.
When he beat it, I think you got up to 11 or 12, too. You didn't stop at 10.
No, I tried to go as far as I could before I died, and when I died, that was it. I'm like, done.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, at least get this run. Finish this run. See what... But it was hard, and it's hard to believe that if I wasn't a trophy hunter, that would have been a forethought. It's amazing what those trophies have done to me sometimes.
Yeah, that's why I try not to do too much trophy hunting when I'm on my PS.
Don't feel I complete the game unless I beat them. Obviously, I skip almost all online trophies unless it's like log into your online account. I'm like, all right, what the fuck, whatever.
No.
There was actually a close call going back to co-op multiplayer. I used to play Army of 2, 40th Day, the second one.
Yeah.
My buddy's like, oh, go get the easy online trophies. Like, you get to make your own mask and all this shit. Like, I like to save all the multiplayer to the end, even the DLC. And they released one DLC for it, which was super glitchy. If you got any multiplayer trophies, when you play the DLC, it would lock out X amount of DLC trophies. So you can never be at 100%. You can still get the platinum, but you couldn't be at 100%. So my buddy, when he got the DLC with me, there's only like 2 levels. We went through them. I got all my trophies, and I figured he did too. He's like, yo, this trophy didn't pop. And I looked it up. For every trophy you have multiplayer, it locked out a trophy for that DLC, and he was pissed because he could never be at 100%. So he actually ended up giving up on the harder multiplayer trophies, which left me stranded because I wanted to get the platinum at that point. So I had to play with all these randoms. I hate playing with fucking randoms. And some of these trophies were hard, and it took me a long fucking time. That's still, minus Gran Turismo, the rarest trophy. Because actually, you can go to a website and see how rare your trophies are. Beyond the Gran Turismo Platinum, that's my rarest trophy, is the Army 2 40th Day Platinum. And I spent a long fucking time on that fucking terrible multiplayer. Amazing, and that's another thing. Amazing single player, horrid multiplayer. I hate multiplayer trophies for that reason. Because that's not meant to be a competitive multiplayer game. It's meant to be a single player game or a co-op game. And that's another problem that we have with multiplayer. Is sometimes they rush the multiplayer, it's not very good, but they'll still throw the trophies in. They couldn't do like a separate set for online trophies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the only reason I played multiplayer. I'm done doing it now. I just do the single player trophies, get as many as I can, call it a day.
What would be cool they could do is if the multiplayer trophies didn't show up unless you logged in.
Yeah.
So then they don't exist unless you log in for multiplayer, and then
It's just something like that. Even just a separate
Yeah.
platinum for single, platinum for multiplayer. If you
There
have
you
it.
go.
Yeah. It's just because I hate being at like 78% for a game I completed under hard mode, and did everything for. But because I don't want to play 1,000 ranked matches, and it's not just 1,000 matches, 1,000 ranked matches. You got everything's in ranked. You can't just fuck you. I hate that shit.
fuck multiplayer.
Fuck multiplayer. We've talked about it a lot, but we really stand on...
Fuck multiplayer.
Me, not as much as you, but there's definitely a lot of frustrations come out of it.
It's not like what it used to be.
No. Like I said, I could. Battlefield Bad Company 3 comes out, I'll probably put 100 hours into it. I won't put 1,000, but I'll definitely be there for a while.
Doom might be a multiplayer game I might play.
I don't know yet.
Let me show you, and then we can
got a
talk
month.
about it
We
later.
got a month to figure that out.